Every environment has herbivores. Without them, everything falls. And here, the most abundant are the dinosaurs, Ornithischian dinosaurs, that is. Most seem very generic, but these creatures are fascinating. An outlier in general media is Triceratops and Stegosaurus, being some of the most well-known dinosaurs. But even the largest Ornithischians like Edmontosaurus or Iguanodon are much well known. Just like in our planet, Ornithischians had great success. The Soleasaurs are by far the most abundant. They can be found in any environment, thriving with mammal competition. All possess a single hoof in their anterior legs, aiding cursoriality, although not all are fast runners. But before this abundance, other more familiar clades ruled over. Most abundant were the hadrosaurs. These animals were enormous, some weighing 20 tons, living in massive herds, eating the abundant flowering plants at the time. Just like in our modern times, and in the Cretaceous of Earth, angiosperms are the most abundant clade of plants. The same was true of most of the Humanum's prehistory. The other abundant groups at the time were the iguanodonts and ankylosaurs. Those were less diverse, but had great success as browsers and grazers respectively. These were also massive animals, with the largest ankylosaurians weighing up to 11 tons, and the iguanodonts reaching 15. At this time, the Soleasaurs were no larger than a dog, living as small animals more used to eating horsetails than conifers, that were less abundant at the time. However, after an extinction event of debated origin, both hadrosaurs and iguanodonts went extinct, and the ankylosaurs died shortly thereafter from a widespread floral turnover and competition. Competition from the now large and diverse Soleasaurs. In modern times, specialists agree that there are three main clades of Soleasaurs: the more basal Clypeotorans, and the closely related Elapidids and so-called true Soleasaurs. Representing the exception of cursorial lifestyles in Soleasaurs, Clypeotorans are armored to the teeth. Large osteoderms line their backs and are bulky tanks. Most are small, like the cresters, which have enlarged scales they use to dig burrows or unearth roots and grubs, their main diet. They quickly flee to their holes when spotted and lay their backs against the entrance. Weighing around 100 kilograms, they would be vulnerable to most predators, but their pointed osteoderms do the job. Mates are actually monogamous, both foraging and raising their young. There is, however, a large kind of Clypeotoran. The armored Seismolian is enormous, weighing 10 tons. They also feed on roots and grubs, but at their size they have to knock down trees instead of small plants and find rotting logs for large grubs, though also eat leaves and horsetails to complement their diet. They live in the southern part of the Scraper mountain range, where there is sufficient trees. The osteoderms are duller and in fewer quantities than in the cresters, mainly due to not needing such protection. Males tend to roam far for female and thus do not care for their young. Females live in small herds led by a dominant male that has the mating rights, and young males are chased off by the dominant male. The one-horned crester is larger than the other cresters, but significantly smaller than the armored Seismolian. These animals have a continental distribution, but are mostly found in the northern regions. Males have significantly longer horns than females, and casually fight with other bulls. However, close relatives with each others fight for their entire lives. Perhaps the most unusual member of the group is the uigu, which is semi-aquatic and has serrated ever-growing beak to cut down trees. Indeed, These animals and beavers are quite similar, but they differ in dam complexity, as beavers built more elaborate wooden homes. All Clypeotorans lack feathers. The reason why is still unknown. Some suggested that with feathering they could not have armor, but this lacks evidence. Most think it is an ancestral trait for burrowing, as the common ancestor of all Clypeotorans were fossorial. The Elapidids are quick and mobile, pushing speeds of 50 km per hour, and some even higher. Their front leg anatomy is different from most Soleasaurs, with one of the phalanges not touching the ground. This is what allows them to run fast. They live in large herds along with tusk snouts, eating lots of horsetail and fewer grasses and leaves. Anywhere that is open enough, they thrive, being common game for predators and hunters alike. Lean bucks represent the average member of this family. They are found from the cold north to the wet southeast and about anywhere except the southern jungle, which is too uneven for them. Lean bucks live in enormous mixed species herds, though in nesting season these herds come apart, as incubation demands constant watch. Common lean bucks live in the Guaro plains and are quite representative of these animals. Males get to 250 kilograms just like most species. Their herds are a common sight and are predated by all sorts of predators. Other species, like the silver linbucks and kirin, are common in the north where it is colder, so are more feathered or bulkier to withstand the frost. Crown bucks are the only featherless elapidids. Found in arid environments, they are named for their ornate horns. Most eat tough, thorny plants and can live with little to no water for weeks. The Laniosaur is the largest member of the group, weighing up to 5 tons. They roam in enormous intercontinental herds that live mowed straight paths of their feeding. The seasonality of the Laniosaur is an event that signals the arrival of spring to all, with biodiversity booming along with them. Uniquely, both sexes battle with each other, with males for mating rights and females for nesting space. This is true of all elapidids, an unusual trait in nature. Opposed to the large Laniosaur, the microdromates are no larger than a house cat. Small grazers found in any habitat are rather very short-footed, scaling any surface including trees. The false troll is the weirdest elapidid, having hooves modified into curving claws to hook down branches. However, it seems calicotheres have the edge in this niche, and the false troll is restricted to small pockets of forest. Elapidids have the fastest metabolisms of any Ornithischians. While all dinosaurs are endothermic, the elapidids especially. This aided them in becoming one of the fastest animals in the continent, with their efficient respiratory systems allowing for long-distance running. The true Soleasaurs, as they are called, are the most diverse group. Some, like the yellow or blue yamut, are large mixed feeders weighing up to 2.5 tons, and are solitary animals living in any habitat. They sometimes get on their hind legs to feed on higher branches, but cannot walk in this posture. Males are known for being very territorial, chasing off any other male out of their territory, which contains several smaller territories led by females. Even some animals in their size range get this attitude. Intraspecific combat is only done by males. Females are much less aggressive, and employ both horns, headbutts, and chubs and kicks with their spurs and hooves that can leave nasty wounds. The spiny yamut lives in the southern jungle and is notable for having quills along with feathers. These fall off naturally and are even used in nest building for added protection. They seem to be more tolerable of other males in their vicinity. Indeed, any of their kind, and even unify to protect themselves against predators, though this behavior is only seen in nesting females. The small barking Yamut are no larger than a dog and are especially aggressive, stomping and barking to any foe or passerby, but when in danger, they quickly flee. Some have a tough, bristle-like coat of feathers, but even then they run from predators. For a long time, the eared crownbucks was considered to be annelipidid, which reflects in their name. They are skittish and live in dense forests. Those characteristics make studying these animals difficult. All that is known is their mainly browsing diet, unusual for Soleasaurs, their long flexible tongues, and their unique ossicones that have a concave shape, making them look like ears. The largest of all Soleasaurs are the Seismolians. Although the armored Seismolian has its name, it is not a true member of the group. With males averaging 15 tons and the largest pushing 22, species in this genus are the largest non-sauropod terrestrial animals in the continent. Due to the size of Seismolians, the territorial behavior of Soleasaurs is very notable because they can chase off medium to large creatures. Confrontations between males are said to shake the ground, and the loser either perishes at the moment or dies of infection. Their extreme size basically renders them immune to predation, and only the largest and boldest predators give them a chance. Even then, it is an old or injured individual. The sun-crested Seismolian has unique horns shaped in the arching shape used both in combat and display for mates. Living in the northern forest, the species is a bit smaller than the others, though only by 2 tons. These are bulk feeders, eating a mix of grasses and leaves. Males have harems of around 5 females that all nest together but don't raise their young together. The brown-striped Seismolian is native to the southern region of the continent, from the Guaro Prairie to the open jungles. Males have more colorful horns than the females, and such horns are the largest of any living animal, with lengths of 4.5 meters. These animals feed more on grasses than foliage, but still have a mixed diet. Brown-striped Seismolians are known for their body pattern, said to be for sexual selection. This is also the largest species on average. The poorly known two-way or Ongomocan Seismolian lives in the eastern Ongomoca jungle, which is a mysterious, unexplored region. Few is known of their behavior. Males of the genus are known for singing loud booming calls to mark their territory, and the Ongomocan Seismolian seems to have the loudest call of them all, being able to travel through the thick jungle for 40 kilometers. All Soleasaurs have small clutches of eggs compared to most dinosaurs, having 2 to 3 chicks, while most theropods and sauropods have 7 to 30 depending on clade. Mothers tend to care for their young for a year before they are either chased off or either stop giving much attention, depending on social behavior. Females tend to be overall more tolerant of each other, even unrelated females. Males, however, are combative and violent with each other. Male chicks playfully fight since hatchling as training for the future. Most Soleasaurs have a diet of gymnosperm and pteridophytes, with some angiosperms being consumed, mainly grass. It is thought that the split between plants keeps competition between dinosaurs and mammals at level. However, the dinosaurs vastly outnumber the mammals and both constantly consume all kinds of plants. Domestication of these Ornithischians has occurred throughout time. A species of Yamut is one of the most common livestock in all of the Humanum, along with the Uba. Domestic Yamut do not lay eggs year-round, and are thus not created for this reason, but the eggs are seen as a delicacy. Yamut are instead bred for meat.
The farm animal bred for egg production is a microdromid. These lay eggs just like chickens and are also sometimes slaughtered for meat, again like chickens. These animals are of great importance for the peoples of the Humanum. Of course, domestic species are of great need, but wild animals are also vital for many villages. Pellets are also of great importance for clothing, as their hide is flexible and protects from the harsh sun rays. Many are part of the mythologies. The Ornithischians have a legend that a herd of Soleasaurs once played a trick on the god of magic, and now have to run from its revenge. The Deskants believe that the cresters are soul seers, and when one lives to 1,000 years, they turn into an armored seismolian.
Alright, some finishing thoughts. I originally made the Soleasaurs to be descendants of Rhabdodontians. However, when Triceratops was described, another genera of Rhabdodontians turned out to be ceratopsids. I thought that making them true descendants wouldn't be that good. For now, you can think that Soleasaurs are descendants of Rhabdodontomorphs, not true Rhabdodontians. Oh, and thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Okay, bye.